Like I used to think walls were just for weak people. And that's a danger. I think a lot of young guys that think they're pretty tough and they lift a lot and you're good at sports, like, yeah, I could do this. I can just power through. It's like, you know what? You're going to hit mile 97 at some point and you're going to fall down and you're not going to be able to get up. And you're going to need real brothers that actually care about you. They're going to challenge you to be the man God made you to be and pull you through there. You're going to actually need that. And then also, it reminds me of God the Father.
Yes.
It's like, that's what he does. It's like, you can't do it. Like, hey, wake up, man. You actually need a savior. There's a reason why he died on the cross for you, because you can't do it. If you could do it on your own, you didn't have to do that.
Yes, BeatiDudes. Welcome to BeatiDudes Nation. This is an exciting part of season 5. This is the first time we're ever going to be in a room that we can smell the excitement. My name is Jeff Schiefelbein. I am so happy.
We will explain what that means in a second. Just to be clear, fair. Jeff, that's a huge hook to put out there.
Nobody has clicked off yet. I can promise you that right now.
What does that mean?
What does he mean? Okay, so my name's Jeff Schiefelbein. Listen, I'm one of the 3 men that sits at this tiny table longing for Tim Tebow every day, but as we journey through life, arm in arm together.
To sign the table. Longing for him to sign the table.
Gotta finish
Jeff,
that
you
one
have
out.
to use all of your words.
Use your words. Use your words.
Words matter.
I've said that to a lot of people that are all have my same last name and they're younger than 12. Look, we're on our way. Hopefully to eternity in heaven, but we're on our way somewhere, and that is a long road. It's ultra long, and we're going to get into that, but I'm joined by, as always, Nick Bezner.
I've only run 1 full marathon, but a few half marathons.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
All right, I'll share a story or two. How about you, Paul? And here's Paul Kolker.
Hey, yeah, I have run at least 2 5Ks, not to brag.
At least.
But yeah, at least a couple
Consecutively?
5Ks. No, like years apart.
Great.
Yeah.
I've
Got a
run
rest.
I've run to 2 Circle Ks. Hey, this is a true story that I wasn't even thinking about when our guest Johnny, before we even introduced him last night. For some reason, my kids are super clingy to me right now. It must be that they need more dad time, but I'm sitting there. And I'd done all this field work because the donkeys broke out the back fence. Is getting out of hand. So I'm covered in poison ivy if you actually look at this.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's not active. It's just inside me. But so I'm covered in poison ivy. My kids are being real sweet to me. And one of my kids starts rubbing a couple of my toenails and he goes, "What happened to you?" And I'm like, "Daddy ran a trail ultra marathon." And they're like, "And?" And I was like, "I destroyed my feet." And they're like, "When was that?" And I'm like, "When you were a baby. Like my feet are destroyed from this thing." Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to our guest, Johnny Kuplack.
Yes.
Is that how I say it right?
Kuplack.
Kuplack.
Kuplack. So Kuplack. So the K-U is pronounced Q. Kuplack. Yes.
Kuplack. Got it.
Kuplack. That's the way it's, when people put that pronunciation in parentheses that's supposed to help you. It couldn't be more unhelpful to me because I read this thing about you from the National Catholic Register.
It was wrong. It was wrong.
So you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I did.
The how to pronounce it was wrong.
Yes.
So I'm not crazy.
Good job, Jeff.
About this.
You actually read it right. Good
Jeff
job.
did his research.
You did read it right.
Yeah.
It just
They
was
were
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, that's what I say about everything.
They were. You know why I'm right? Because I'm right.
Johnny.
No, it was tough. Jeremy Beer, we were in a coffee shop talking, and he skipped his workout to keep talking to us, and he was furiously writing things down, but he was also in a huge hurry. So we was kind of like drinking out of a fire hydrant that day. A lot was coming out.
Did as much as you can.
And then he had to go. And so whatever he got.
Do I know that name because of National Catholic Register or because of AmPhil?
AmPhil. He's the AmPhil guy.
Yeah. Is he the founder?
I think he's the founder of AmPhil.
We always thought that guy's name was Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil.
I actually met Jeremy the other day and I wanted to apologize to him. Like, I know everything we've said about AmPhil's stupid. AmPhil's amazing. Evan's amazing.
What we say about
former
it,
guest, but
stupid.
Everything we say is pretty stupid. Okay, so he wrote that about you.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, listen, we got to go way back. Johnny, you look like a runner.
Right now I do, yeah.
Did you run here? And no joke, did you run to this studio?
I ran to a point 1.5 miles from here, and then we brought the van over here. So
Okay.
I technically drove here.
You got out in the parking lot.
After your long run.
After 25 miles, drove 1.5 miles to here. We just didn't want to be late.
Got it.
And I jumped out in front of the office and we meandered up here, and it's like Pan's Labyrinth up here. There's all these offices and corridors, and it took us about 10 minutes to find you guys. So
when you said you were coming up here, the thing that you just said to us was, I'm sorry if I smell bad. I think you don't smell that bad. I mean, I'm just...
Agreed.
Yeah, like maybe you've run so much that you run until you don't smell. Is that like a health thing?
My brother Danny, who just came down to crew me for the week to give our crewman Joe a week off, he came into the van, and
I haven't been in the van.
Last night was his first night spent in the van.
Okay.
And we woke up this morning and things were a little ripe in there. He's had a few comments about the smell of the van, which I have ceased to notice.
Did you say rub my feet?
It's also when it's your own smell.
When
it's your own smell, you kind of get...
You don't really smell it anymore. Yeah. So
I'm not even trying to be funny. Did you do something? Did you Axe body spray or something before you came up here? You don't stink.
No, nothing.
All right.
That's good. That's good news.
Really
I'm glad.
So you're doing a little bit of running. Can you explain to us what the goal is right now? Like, let's just dive into it. What are you doing?
What am I doing? That was a great question. So,
I'm full of great questions.
I ask myself this question often.
Usually about mile 21.
Not so much what am I doing, but why am I doing
there
this?
you go.
Yeah, fair.
What I say, I'm going to be using we a lot because it really isn't just not the royal we, but me and my crewman Joe and our guys back in Gallup, New Mexico. That if I didn't have the team actually working on this wouldn't be happening.
Sure.
So if I say we, it's not me talking about myself in the third person. It's actually all of us.
Yeah.
So we decided to this run is the official launch project of our nonprofit Sebaste, named after the 40 martyrs of Sebaste.
Okay.
And we're running across the United States of America, running through all these different communities that have helped form us and shape us, but also the communities that we've become connected to through all the young men that we've been working with over the past 4.5 years. And we're trying to raise $250,000 as seed money to begin this work that we believe God has seriously put on our hearts in earnest.
How did you start working with these guys in the last 4 years? What does that mean that you've been encountering?
That's a great question. Do you want to hear
you're the guest,
the story, how I actually got there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I was at it's a strange point in my life, and some things happened when I was in about 30, and I didn't want to do any more work with high school guys or college guys, and I didn't want to be around people. So I drove to Nevada to work on a silver drilling rig, exploration mining. And I got in with the guys, I got an apartment, I got all set up, and I made it through the entire process. And at the very end, they asked to run my license. I said, okay, give my license. And after they ran it, they said, we can't hire you.
What?
I'm like, why not? Like, well, you have 2 speeding tickets from 5 years ago. I'm like, that was a long time ago. It's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what he said. Like, well, if you had just got out of federal prison, that would have been fine. But speeding tickets aren't fine because the machinery that we need to operate. You can't have any moving violations on your license. And says we can't hire you. Felon, good to go.
Oh, my
two moving violations from 5 years ago, you're done. So I had $250-$300 to my name, and
can I have some of that silver to get home?
that's all I should have asked him. But the problem is that I didn't have a home.
Yeah,
like that my home was going to be there, and I spent the little money that I had getting set up and buying the gear I was going to need. So I drove my car about 100 miles away from that little town. It's Tonopah, Nevada. And I sat out in my car for 5 days in the middle of the desert, just walking around. I had food and water in the car. And I was extremely angry and frustrated at God, at myself, and I had no idea what to do. But I knew I only have $250. That's only enough gas money to get a couple hundred miles in one direction. Yeah. So I need to choose my direction. And where am I going to go? Like, I have no idea what to do right now. So I sat there for 5 days, read the Bible, listened to some talks, just walked around the desert. And then I drove back into a different town to get some cell reception, and I got a phone call from a man named Bill McCarthy. Bill McCarthy is the father of one of my best friends from high school. So we went to boarding school together, St. Gregory's Academy in Pennsylvania. Bill calls me up, and Bill's like, hey, he's the CEO of the Southwest Indian Foundation in Gallup, New Mexico. Okay. Bill's like, hey, Johnny, you got to come down to Gallup. We've got this shrine we're building to Our Lady of Guadalupe in St. Kateri. And we got all these college guys coming to build the shrine, and we need someone to just make sure they don't burn the place down.
Incredible.
Can you come do that? I'm like, no, Bill. I'm not going to come babysit a bunch of college guys at a shrine in New Mexico. That's the last thing I want to do. That's what I'm trying to get away from right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, you can, Bill's like 65, pushing 70, and he's Irish, and just kind of like this wheeler and dealer, and we call him the Irish code talker because he never speaks clearly. He's always speaking in some kind of code. There's always some kind of angle. It's never clear. I kind of hope he hears that. Yeah. But so I say no. And 3 days go by, Bill calls me again. I still have no plan.
Yeah, your prospects are looking
My prospects
great.
are not looking that good. So he calls me back again. He's like, come on, hey, what do you think? I'm like,
well, I have a lot of other offers right now.
A lot of options on my table.
Considering
there's that scorpion I could go hang out with.
Something like that. It was literally about that. There was nothing. I had no options. And so I'm like, Bill, all right, man, I'm gonna come down. He's like, at least come down. You can use it as a launching pad for your next venture. You get 2.5 months of stability. I'll kick you some money, and you don't have to hardly do anything. You can be like a job site foreman, learn some of the stuff, make sure everyone's got supplies, make sure the guys don't burn the place down. So I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
I think we might have just stumbled onto something though there. I think for what you're doing, we should all wear plaid to help launch it and call it a launch plaid.
And we could all be foremen for men.
Well, I like there we go.
There are 4 men for men here.
Well, it's just kind of a plaid shirt right there.
Right? Yeah, there's a little bit.
You're the first one.
Yeah, I'm here to launch.
You're in charge now. Had you been to Gallup before this?
I had driven through Gallup with no intention of ever going back.
People used to think I was crazy for this. I did a live out of the car road trip. Not that part.
Okay.
What I'm about to tell you, they thought, well, I guess for everything I'm about to say. I used to do these live out of the car road trips. I get all my meals for free by offering to work for it everywhere I went, but I just pay for the gas. Yeah. I did it all over New Mexico up to Four Corners and back, and then I took off and I did California and I did East Coast, whatever. But when I got to Gallup, I turned north on Route 666. And people were like, that doesn't exist. I'm like, absolutely it does. It's the Devil's Highway. And there's even this like rock formation that looks like the devil laying on his back, like looking up at the sky. And somebody's like, that doesn't even exist. So I went and looked, and in the early 2000s, they renamed Route 666. So in one trip, I went on Route 6, Route 66, and Route 666. And in the early 2000s, they were finally like, maybe we shouldn't have the Devil's Highway. But I always, like, I've journaled this whole thing, and I remember watching dogs drinking antifreeze at a gas station.
Wait, what?
in Gallup, New Mexico, at the base of Route 666.
That
and
would
I'm like,
explain a lot of the dogs.
Right.
In Gallup.
Yeah.
Did they like it?
Listen,
You could have taken a poll.
They kept laughing.
everything about that trip was trippy. Like, it just is, you're on Route 666, and I mean, there would be signs, you know this. It would say, do not ever pitch up hitchhikers. Pitch them up? Pick them up.
Pick them up.
Don't pitch them either.
They're not going to invest in your venture.
Proposition.
You want to launch some launch plaid?
So they would be hitchhiking underneath the do not pick up hitchhiker sign. And I'm like, just go another 20 feet and you're going to look better. So anyways, been to Gallup. That was my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And then you went to Gallup.
Then I ended up in Gallup for that summer. And it turned out to be a phenomenal experience. It's amazing how God does that. You know, like someplace we don't want to be. And as soon as, and I wasn't even getting into it. The first 2 weeks, I did everything I could not to see any of those guys.
Wow.
I didn't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hang out with a bunch of 20-year-old dudes that are out here. I don't care about you guys.
How old were you at the time?
I was probably 31.
Yeah.
31. Like, and I don't care about what you guys are doing in college. It's just, I'm not interested in this right now.
Yeah.
But then I got drawn into it, and I spent a lot of my life working at St. Gregory's Academy. So it's boys' boarding school. So teaching there, coaching soccer, rugby, going on adventures with these guys in Europe and all over the place. And I love that stuff. So you just get sucked into the life and the conversations, and these guys were incredible.
That's awesome.
Then we just started doing a bunch of things together. I started like, well, I'm going to be here for 2.5 months, so I'm going to make the most of it. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to the Grand Canyon tomorrow. Anybody wants to come, be out here at 4 a.m. And guys would show up. Like, hey, we're gonna start praying Compline in the evening. We're gonna start doing different things, and it's what they wanted.
Yeah.
We're gonna start saying, like, the guys wanted to sing songs. I know a bunch of folk music from high school, and I love singing.
Yeah.
Started singing a bunch of songs, and coupled with all the adventures, and it just transformed people's lives. And it's not like you did anything. You just, let's pray, let's get out into the beautiful created world that God made, and actually encounter that in a real way. And look what, and we're all surprised, like, well, look what happens when we actually do real things. It's just like,
you get out of the way too, and just let it happen.
Yeah, and then so at the end of that summer, I was telling a few of those guys in the other room before we got in, we had a little soiree where the guys had an opportunity to get up and speak for 5 minutes to the group. Last time to get to address the group, just talk about your experience, what happened, and they just said incredible things. Like, this was the best experience of my life. It totally changed. I didn't know. I mean, guys would be like, I had no idea I could do this many things in one day. Or like, I didn't know life could be like this. I never experienced this before. And I think it was in that moment after that first summer, like, we should probably do this intentionally. Instead of just like this accidental weird thing where like I'm half present. I was still only 50% present the whole summer, because you're thinking about your own life and how confused you are. But when you kind of allow yourself to get drawn out of yourself, that's when the magic happens. It was awesome. So that's how I ended up in New Mexico.
And you still live, like, that's home base for you, is New Mexico, or no? Or is that not a thing?
Home base is a whole different story at this point. I don't know where there is no home
Where's
base
the
right
van?
now. The home base is right here where the van is.
Yeah.
So I'm currently living in that van. I don't have all my earthly possessions are split between one brother's basement in Virginia and my friend's law office in Gallup.
Okay.
And then the other 10% is in the van. So
See, there's all kinds of ways to do it, folks. You can do whatever you feel like, right? People think, oh, this isn't what,
a lot of ways to live life.
That's
but,
right.
When did the van part start? When did this trip? You're on a trek right now.
Yeah,
this is a huge deal.
The van's a recent development. We got the van as an asset for this cross country run. It's actually a pilgrimage.
Yeah,
I'm on a pilgrimage to the Shrine of the North American Martyrs in Orisville, New York.
Cool.
So
didn't even know that was there.
Yeah, kind of the St. Kateri connection.
Yeah.
We're building the shrine to St. Kateri. She's from that neck of the woods.
Oh, cool.
And then, of course, Isaac Jogues and companions, and what better guys to make a pilgrimage to in this Jubilee year of 2025. So
Imagine spending 7 days in the wilderness with the BeatiDudes, experiencing God's glory in the new evangelization.
Sounds amazing.
Well, that's not going to happen because we're not going, but there are these expeditions through CORE expeditions that you can go on. What's CORE?
CORE is an outreach of Wyoming Catholic College called Catholic Outdoor Renewal. They get you out into the wilderness where you can encounter God away from all the crazy clutter of our current age.
Bye-bye, cell phone.
COR, coreexpeditions.org.
The new evangelization.
Super cool.
yeah.
When did you leave? When did your first step start on this pilgrimage?
Oh, I think it was January 18th. I came out of the Pacific Ocean and dried off and started running.
Wait, what? Were you living in the Pacific Ocean? Or like, what? How did that start?
I jumped out of a helicopter. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Survivor.
James
We'll
Bond.
see you in New York.
Born ultimate.
Just came out with scuba gear. And
love it.
been down there for 20 hours.
Yeah.
So you came out, started.
Yeah, no,
Dried off, put on some shoes.
we camped near the beach the night before.
Yeah.
In the morning, went for a swim, got out, and then ran.
How did you mark that very first morning? I mean, what kind of prayer, reading, moment, song? What was
great
like
question.
the kickoff?
It's. I don't know if nervous doesn't describe it. You're just about to. I was about to undertake something that is too big for me to comprehend.
Sure.
Like, I can't understand what it means to run to the Atlantic Ocean, to the other side of the United States. And so I'm sitting in one ocean. You're like, when you're talking about it, 3 months, you're like, oh yeah, we can run across the country. It's like, when it gets real,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my gosh, like we got to do it now. It's a lot harder to do it. It's a lot easier to sit around talking. So yeah, when those first steps, I was just praying, oh my God, just help me, give me the strength to do this, the mental fortitude, the physical, like, keep my body from breaking. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I've never run back-to-back ultras. So I got into ultra running since when I was living in Gallup. So I've been racing for 2 years now, 30 mile, 50 mile, 100 mile races.
Are you good at the ultras? Before you started this pilgrimage, were you good at it?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. I mean, I've raced 10 races, and I've won 6 of them, and I've come in second in 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
sorry for everybody else.
That's pretty good.
But
I guess I'm okay.
No, but I mean, I've got to qualify that though, because I'm not racing elite competition, but I think I'm able to. So after this run, I'm going to really start trying to break into the
When you say
serious
this run,
This cross country,
ocean
run.
Yeah.
this 100-day marathon.
Yes,
in America.
exactly.
How did you train for this?
Yeah.
Ran from one ocean to the other. No big deal.
Then I got my scuba gear back on. Got
Swam
some
to
clam
Europe.
shells.
Started over.
I flew up into the helicopter.
Yeah.
Jeez, this is insane and amazing. Pilgrimage is amazing. I just
It's
been
amazing.
part of it's
Yeah.
insane. What does it actually feel like when you've never done back to back and now you've been doing that for
45 days.
Yep.
Yeah, today's day 45. So, wow. Well, let me tell you guys about the first 10 days. That's probably the
Please.
most interesting.
You basically started at the start of Exodus 90. Those days almost lines up.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm finishing not on Easter, but I'm finishing on Divine Mercy Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
That's awesome.
Which I can talk about why we chose that day.
Yeah.
later.
Please, all
But-
that. Yeah.
But yeah, the first day I ran 35, and then getting up the next day, I'm like, I got to do this again. It's just, I never, like, that was such a daunting thing for me.
Yeah.
It's like, it can, like, we can all do a one-off of most things,
Sure.
Yeah.
but to kind of repeat and then repeat,
Yeah. It's
and
like
then
you can do
it
anything.
just, it's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
It just doesn't stop. You wake up every day, and then but it just gets worse. So by day 7, we're in the middle of the desert, somewhere between California, between the coast and Phoenix somewhere, and I was done. I was ready to drop out. I'm like, I'm in so much pain right now, and I had this fever. I'm like sweating bullets and shivering. And Joe remembers this. You can't see me right now, but we woke up this one morning. It was like day 8, probably day 8 or 9, and I'm like, I can't get up. I'm too tired. My legs hurt so bad. I had like the stress fracture in my right foot, and I've got this fever, and I'm like, I can't do this. And I can't do this. And I'm just sitting in my bed, just hoping I'd feel better. Till about 11 a.m. And I'm like, I gotta get up. So I got up, and originally, for the past couple of years, I've been eating just seriously high-fat, high-protein diet. So 95% red meat, eggs, butter, milk. It's pretty much all I
Kind
eat.
of carnivore style.
Yeah, pretty much.
diet.
But
That's
something
good because you can just kill stuff on the side of the road and just eat straight through it.
you don't even have to kill it. You just see it. You
anybody
just
have
see a
butter?
lion there.
But in Gallup, they have antifreeze inside of them, so I'm just telling you to be careful.
It's true. You are what you eat.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it was. So I was going into this serious calorie deficit because I was burning 5,000 calories a day, but I was only eating 1, and I was beat. So that
1 calorie?
1,000. 1,000.
Just lick something.
I'm sorry. I had to pounce.
Yeah.
I'm immature.
Go for
easy.
that. Go for
Too
that
easy.
low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Okay. 1,000. But why?
Low-hanging butter.
Why only 1,000 a day?
Because I didn't have an appetite. My appetite was totally suppressed from the my body hadn't adjusted to the workload, and so you're not hungry.
My body adjusts so fast to workload.
You just eat a lot.
Hyper reactive. You're working? Let's eat something.
snack time.
So I guess on that day I decided, like, I'm just gonna eat anything I want. So there was a Starbucks right around the corner. I'm not a huge fan of Starbucks. I don't like giving them my money because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
None
like-
of us do.
You know, yeah.
But
I don't
when
like-
in a desert,
I don't like what they support. Anyhow, it was right around the corner, and I went into Starbucks, and I think I ate everything in their pastry case.
Wow.
Yeah, I just ate it all. I drank
Tasmanian.
just.
I'll have one of those.
Can I
Which
just-
one? No, the case.
The display case.
Is there like a volume discount?
Yeah, so I went in there, just chocolate milk, pounding chocolate milks, orange juice, 6 pastries.
You probably looked like you were on some candid camera because you were very small. Like, this guy can eat everything in the world? Yes.
Then we just sat there for about an hour, just going into a little food coma. And then I'm like,
digest.
and then I'm like, I'm just going to see if I can do 1 mile. So I kind of limped out a 14-minute mile. I'm like, okay, let's see if I can do 1 more mile. And it literally was like that.
Wow.
And then around 10:30 at night, I hit 35 miles. I'm like, wow. And I was so happy. At the end, it's just, you're running down. You're in the middle of nowhere. These little ribbons of highway. Just turned my headlamp off. Just running by the stars out in the middle of nowhere, just running down the center of the road, and you can see headlights coming so from a long way off because there's nothing else going on. And so that was kind of a big moment. Around day 10, day 11, day 12, my body started to adapt, and I feel better now.
Yeah,
like I'm not, but those first 10 days it was brutal, and I'm really glad. I think a lot of people praying for me. And I'm really glad I didn't pull the pin that early because.
Did you start like super strong? Like you've been racing and doing all this, and so you're like, I'm gonna go do my normal like 8 minute, 7 minute, 6 minute pace.
That's the thing. I've been like, I gotta go slow.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long it takes me. I just need to finish it.
Yeah.
But I'm so impatient, and I just I don't want to be out there that long.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
I want to get this
Running
done.
for 12 hours every day is
like
not
I don't
fun.
want to do that. Like
Yeah.
let's condense this to like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So I think I was taking it slow, and I did probably 6.5, 7 hours the first day.
Yeah.
Now that I'm adapted a little bit better, I can do a 5.5 hour day, and I still feel okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've already run today,
I've run 25 miles today.
so we got to knock some out.
Yeah,
You want us to go with you?
Yeah, we can carry the mics and
that would be actually.
If we just divide it up, it's only 2.5 miles each.
yeah.
Just keep up with him.
We can just carry some of the load.
Yeah, Samwise Gamgee.
What does that mean?
Yeah, carry the load. The burden's too heavy, Mr.
Lord of the
Frodo.
Rings.
Oh, Samwise.
can't carry it for you, Mr. Frodo.
That's what I was looking for.
can carry you.
Can you do that about what you're ordering at Starbucks? Go ahead.
I need a pastry case. The whole case, Mr. Frodo.
This is for 11sies. Do you think they're going to have second breakfast in Mordor?
Can I use both the men's and the women's restroom?
Trust me.
I'm going to knock down the walls.
I've only had 1 calorie so far today. I need about 5,999 more.
Oh, man. That's the Lord of a different room. Okay, as we were talking about all this very important stuff.
Wait, so I've got one. Do you listen to music or anything?
Yeah,
Your own thoughts.
Up until 4 days ago, I've never listened to any music or anything when I've run in my entire life.
Yeah.
But
So you just get in the zone, like mentally in the zone.
My dad's the same way. Y'all could hang out, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to think about. And I think at the beginning of the trip, I'm like, I'm not going to listen to anything. I'm going to go all the way across, and I just want to be, I was just wanting to know, like, if I could enter into this kind of silence, like, what could God say to me if I really give him this opportunity? And I don't flood the zone with noise. I'm not consuming any content, good or bad. I'm open. And I'm just going to pray the whole time. So this goes on for the first 40 days. And then I started thinking, I'm like, man, like, you start thinking about a lot of stupid things sometimes. I'm like, you know what? I could keep doing this, but I bet there's a better way I could be spending
You
this
might
time.
be able to get a PhD in physics if you just put that in your ears.
Well, there's so many things. And just with all the thoughts in my head at the time, like, you know what? It would be better to have something good filling my head than start. You get tired. Like, I'm so tired all the time. I'm just tired.
Why?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out too.
Freaking lazy.
It's right, because I'm always sitting around sleeping in, and it's the
That's
usual. But it's like when you're so tired all the time, you just get irritable. It's like the worst side of you is always at the surface,
Yeah.
and you start thinking terrible things about people that aren't even there. You're just running and you're a mile 15. Like, I hate that guy. He's like, I haven't seen him in 10 years.
Really making space for the Lord there.
And just like, exactly.
In 15 more miles, I will have resolved it with him.
Which is exactly what happens. Like, then by mile 25, like, this guy's awesome. What is wrong with me? Like, why am I thinking this stuff?
I forgive him for all the stuff I thought he was thinking.
So my crew guy Joe, he got me these cool little headphones. They're called Shocks. They don't actually go in your ears.
Oh, the bone conduction.
Yeah, they
stuff.
hook up on your temples. So
You
you
don't
can
have to have ear weight bouncing around on you.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing bouncing around, and you can hear everything else around you because nothing's in your ears. So that's actually been awesome.
That's cool.
So
We're talking about the same Joe you said, move over to the side so you can be hidden by that pillar over there and nobody can.
Big Joe.
You couldn't look at Joe while you were talking. Is this the whole trip? Don't look at me, Joe.
I mean, in fairness, he probably would have started making faces at him halfway through our episode.
It's like
Joe has a powerful laugh, and if he starts laughing,
how did
you
you
can
get
hear
this?
you can hear him from 35 miles away.
yes.
Yeah.
Joe's part of the pilgrimage team, but how did you find dudes that were in a good spot to like just carve out the rest of their life for this year and go running?
Yeah, that is a really good question. Joe was the only guy I could think of who would do this. No,
You didn't know us yet.
I got
Too late now.
I got
He's
your
halfway
number
through.
now.
Jeff, you have 7 children. You need to be around.
I'll run. Not from them, with them.
We'll call you up for round 2.
Yeah.
But, next year when we do it.
Yeah,
But,
we're building our own reservation.
But yeah, Joe came through the kind of the infancy stages of our program for the first 2 summers before it really existed, but it started to develop. So I kind of feel bad he didn't actually get, but I don't. He didn't get the experience we're providing, but he got the experience that he needed at that time, and he really did. And he, by his own admission, he said those 2 summers really unlocked something in me. And since then, Joe has, he's finished his undergrad. He was in grad school at UD for a little bit. Sometimes he's doing jiu-jitsu in Iceland. He's hunting random animals in South Africa.
Of course.
He's got a full ride to a couple law schools right now, and he's planning on going to law school in the fall. No big deal.
Okay.
So Johnny, this has been enough with you. We're going to get Joe up here now.
You should get Joe up here. He's a lot more interesting.
He looks like he's from Hogwarts. Now everybody's like, who's Joe?
Yeah, Joe's...
Joe Dumbledore.
How do you have a look?
He's got like the sweater on. Am I making that up? Is he wearing a sweater right now?
I don't know if he's still
he
here.
left. He went to the bathroom. Man, he snuck out.
We didn't have to say he went to the bathroom.
Missing
We
out,
don't even
Joe.
know for sure.
Yeah, he stepped out. He's getting coffee.
Maybe he went to both bathrooms.
Maybe he went to get a pastry case.
Man, I have very serious questions for you that we have to get into.
Please ask me some. I loved it.
Well, first is, are you ready to judge something very special?
This special thing is called Blessed Are the Joke Makers, for they shall inherit the points.
All right.
Little game we play.
Let's do it.
All right, and the way this works is I'm going to pull out a character card and one of the Catholic card game cards, and we have to answer the prompt on the Catholic card game card as this character, and you just get to decide which one you enjoyed the most and award all the points.
111 points.
You get how this is working? You just judge the 3 of us. It'll go 1, 2, 3. Like we'll popcorn. Who's going to answer this really weird setup improv moment? No, none of us know what's coming, Johnny.
Yeah.
It's like running into Starbucks.
Yes.
They had no idea what was coming out
Exactly.
there.
And you don't now. You're like the Starbucks. You're the barista.
Yeah, you just get to judge us.
Barista?
Yeah, barista.
All right, so as an overachieving soccer mom, Jesus specialized in blank before his public ministry.
Kids, I got 16 coolers here, and in my coolers, I got oranges for one cooler, I got apples for another cooler, I got juice boxes for another cooler. We're going to have every cooler full every time that we get out here, and actually, we're going to play soccer every single day for the next 95 days, even if you don't want to, because Jesus had 99 problems, and juice boxes, I forgot what the thing was. He specialized in crushing it before his public ministry. Lost it. I started thinking he had 99 problems.
You went a different... I liked that direction, but that was just a different direction.
It doesn't have to be good, Johnny. It just has to be from the heart.
Jesus, come on, we're gonna be late. We gotta get it. After workshop with Dad, we gotta get all. You got so many different things going on. You gotta get down, go do fishing nets, and then mending the nets, and then going fishing, and you gotta get all your badges. You know, it's like Scouts, but obviously before that's been invented. But I know that because I'm Mother Mary, and
Who sounds like she's from East Texas.
that's okay. Anyways, Jesus really specialized in all the different potential merit badges before his public ministry.
Before they even existed. I like the angle you took. All right, Paul Polonius.
All right, kids, gather round. Come on, all y'all. You're gonna be hopping in the car here soon. But before you do, I want you to grab your snacks. All right, you got your choice of pastries. You got your choice of meat fresh off the bone. Just whatever you need. Because just like our Lord and Savior, He specialized in caloric intake before His public ministry. So, and now I need all y'all to hop in my Honda, because just like the apostles, we are all in one accord.
Oh,
As soon as he
What
made
a
that turn,
chord.
I knew where he was taking that last
Come
one. It was still
on.
worth it. And he got Johnny right in the tickle bone. So you can make it,
Man.
you can pivot and surprise us all, but where are the 111 points going, Johnny?
Do I have to equally divide these?
No,
points?
no,
Give
you
out
give them to
one.
one
If you
person.
divide
It's a
them
lot of
up-
math for me.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not-
like
how much
somebody
of a
else
math
running
guy?
for
Why
you.
would we make you- that would just be doing
just
math.
Say you point to somebody from the chart that we've given you, point and say one of the names up there. Even if you get confused, just say whichever name sounds the closest to yours.
Those were all. I thought those were all pretty good.
That's not true.
man. But Jeff, I do. I think it's between these two guys.
Really? Is that real?
I did like yours, but there's
I
something
got
about
99
the way
problems
that,
and points ain't one of
the
them.
way they connected. I think I'm gonna have to go with Paul. 'Cause
Yeah.
Boom. Hey, for
Thanks,
being
man.
our celebrity guest judge, Johnny, you're going to get a pair of Blessed Carlo Acutis, soon to be Saint Carlo Acutis socks from sockreligious.com. I don't think these are going to be the greatest ones for running in.
No, probably not.
But when your running mates, and by that I mean the guys in the van, want to give you a good nice foot massage at the end of the night, just slip those on, and they will be rubbing on a modern day saint and not just your feet.
Oh, I see what you did there.
See,
yeah,
I'm going
it's-
to make it not weird.
Yeah, well,
Maybe that
not that
maybe
far.
that sainthood could rub off on you.
There it is.
On your thumbs. All right, we'll be right back after the break on the BeatiDudes.
Hi, it's Paul Kolker from the BeatiDudes here, and I just wanted to share with you guys that I also, outside of the show, perform improv comedy on a regular basis with a group called Divine Comedy. So what we do is we come up with everything on the spot, so whether you're looking for faith-filled, fun, family-friendly comedy for your youth night, or whether you're looking for clean comedy for your corporate event, Divine Comedy can perform for your group and even get you in on the action. So if you'd like to hire us to come out and perform for your next event, check out DivineComedyImprov.com. Divine Comedy, an inferno of fun.
Nick, when it comes to investing, I just feel like money and morality don't always line up. What's the answer?
Often that's the case, but our friends at Aquinas Wealth Advisors have a really great solution. It's called the Faith and Finance Score. You go on their website and you put in your info. They tell you where you're invested and where it doesn't actually line up with where you want to be.
So you mean I don't just have to funnel money towards a retirement fund where I don't know what it's investing in?
That's right, you don't. And you don't even have to give up or sacrifice returns. You can get both.
So just get on the computer, bing, and I type in the website.
AquinasWealth.com. It takes longer to type than it does to get your faith and finance score.
Thanks, guys. Great job, Nick.
You betcha.
You know what I think is hard about starting a business? Healthcare, for crying out loud. It's expensive. It's intimidating. At the end of the day, you're probably paying for stuff you don't even agree with. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I knew you could. So what we did is we started working with Solidarity Health Share. Totally different. These folks are aligned with us morally and ethically. And even the structure from a cost perspective works for us as we're launching businesses, as we're growing our families. And I don't know if you know this, but a couple times my kids went to the hospital in the last 2 years.
They sure have.
Yours?
But Solidarity has walked with us through all of it, including some crazy stuff for Benny Pro, my little boy. So all of this to say, I would encourage anybody out there thinking about their own business, their own needs, check out Solidarity Health Share for a better alternative to regular healthcare. So check out learnmore.solidarityhealthshare.org/BeatiDudes.
Stop what you're doing and listen to the BeatiDudes.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Johnny Kuplack. I did it wrong. Kuplack.
That was
You got the
pretty
Johnny
good.
right.
Yeah, Johnny Kuplack.
Johnny on the spot.
AKA the Marathon Man. And you told us in the first segment there, you are launching a nonprofit. You've got this dedication or sort of devotion to these saints. You're going to go to the shrine, but like, where does this come from? Right? Like, you're just like, hey, I am in the desert. Now I'm in New Mexico doing this thing. Now I'm in the ocean. Now I'm just going to go run to the other ocean. Like, walk through that progression a little bit more for us.
You know, guys, since I've never been on a podcast before, I'm always a little. Do you want the Reader's Digest short version, or do you want like a 10-minute version?
Let's ask the audience what they want. This will come out in a few months.
I'm hearing 5 to 7 minute version.
5 to 7 minute. Is that what they're saying?
They're lighting up the chat right now.
They are.
And the poll is taken by 5-minute version.
Yep.
There we go.
All right.
It's a Gallup poll.
Gallup, New Mexico poll.
That was good, Paul.
Thank you.
He knows how to antifreeze on the mic.
Oh, I see what you
Thank you.
see what you did.
Okay, yeah. Let me tell you about that. So this might be taking it back a little far on when you hear me start, but I don't think it is, because it's the questions.
It's like foundational.
It's the questions that have guided everything I've done in my life and everything I've pursued. So when I went to this boarding school, St. Gregory's Academy in Pennsylvania, it completely transformed everything that I cared about and valued.
Wow.
It reoriented my entire value system. And this school was so unique, and it immerses you in reality and beauty in such a powerful way that you're moved towards the truth in a way that I've never experienced before. Wow. So a lot of literature, poetry, music.
Is it like a classical style?
No, I wouldn't say it's classical.
Okay.
It's a more medieval.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it's a combination of, you don't just read great books, you live it. You are living out Homeric epics on a daily basis, and I'm not even kidding. We'd sit around talking about like how we can win honor and glory when we're 16, 17 years old, and then on the rugby pitch, and 5 degrees and freezing mud, you're out there every day, 2.5 hours battling it out, and that changes you.
Yeah,
it's incredible, and so we do these. There's a lot of pilgrimages. We do. Pilgrimage is a huge part of the school, so. Ties into the pilgrimage I'm doing right now.
Sure.
For the seniors every year, we take them to Europe, and nobody brings any money, no cell phones. Everyone gets a little backpack with some clothes, and we street perform our way across Europe, sleeping in the streets, sleeping in the woods with a bunch of high school guys for 30 to 40 days. And
This is incredible.
What?
yes.
And here's the biggest thing that does for you as a young man. First of all, it's cool. When the guys first show up in Europe, guys are afraid. Like, they've grown up at the school learning how to juggle and sing and play music, and we street perform in New York City and Philadelphia. So they've been performing for 4 years. But now, when there's no back door, everything's on the line. Like, we're here. Teachers don't bring credit cards either, or phones. Like, no one.
So burn the ships.
It's burn the ships. There's no backup plan here.
Yeah.
So we all get there, and the guy's like, okay, we got to do shows. We got to make money. And it's all about, their mentality is making money because we need to eat. We're not going to eat. And these guys, they're 18 years old, and they're big, and they've been working out and
They're
playing
always
rugby for
hungry.
4 years, and they're hungry. They're hungrier than I am, usually right now.
You go to Europe and you like get a meal and you're like, well, where's the rest of it?
That was my first bite, but where's the other 20, 30 bites?
Yeah.
So, but it's amazing how the two pillars of the pilgrimage are the show and the liturgy. We have a priest who travels with us and says the Melkite Divine Liturgy every single day, no matter where we are, sleeping in some abandoned castle, out in the woods, in the rain, whatever it is, and the show. And so the guys learned that the show is a gift. Like, you have to give this gift. Doesn't matter if you don't think this crowd's gonna give you a lot of money.
Pay it. Yeah.
And so the rule is we perform to anybody,
Oh, wow.
even to little kids. We always give the show. And if people want to give us a gift of food or money in return, we gladly accept. And if not, that's fine. And there are some days you're going, 25, 30, 35 miles a day on foot walking, and you don't eat. And then you go to bed out in the middle of nowhere, and it's raining, and you're in some abandoned castle, and nobody eats that day. And you wake up the next morning, you're like, all right, let's go. Let's see what God has in store for us today.
Wow.
So that experience of being on those as a student and then leading many of them or co-leading them, that's been a huge part of my life. And one of the questions that St. Gregory's woke up in me was, I'm made for greatness. I'm made for greatness. And when I was 19, I'm like, what do I do? Like all my friends they're getting apartments or they're working these dead end jobs and they're living like just going to stupid parties on the weekends. And this goes on for 3 years and they're doing the same thing. I'm like, there's got to be a world that's as real as the one I just left. So I decided to go on a quest for one wise man who is living life well. And I'm like, I'm going to find this guy no matter where he is in the world. I'm going to become his disciple. So I bought a one-way ticket to Europe. I had no money. And I just started hitchhiking around Europe and America. And I did that for about a year and a half, just living in the streets and talking to everyone, truckers. And my main question is like, are you guys happy? And like, do you like doing this? And why? And what motivates you to do the things you do? Because I didn't know. I didn't know. And so after about a year and a half, two of my buddies, we read this book in high school called The Restoration of Christian Culture by John Senior. He was a professor at the University of Kansas back in the 70s. And
During their great books era?
yeah, that was him. That was all him. So
that's cool.
Incredible. That like, maybe if we get back to the roots of things, get back to the land, live in a simpler way, more connected to the earth, maybe there's some truth that we're going to discover. So when I was 21, I hitchhiked to Kansas, and me and two of my friends built a cabin out in the middle of a field, and we lived in this cabin for 2 years, totally off the grid, no running water, no electricity. We had cows. We had, no, it's not true. We had one. It wasn't even our cow. It was like somebody. There was a cow around. There was a cow. We had 10 pigs, some sheep, a big garden, and we lived out there for about a year and a half together. And I didn't have a phone at the time, and the rule was we're no technology. So we set up their MacBook computer and this other guy's iPhone, and we shot him with the 3030. And that was the end of that.
Dude, when we were coordinating all this, I was on some text thread with whoever started it, and Joe.
A text message is whenever you have two phones.
Well, this is exactly because I get a text back that says, "This is Joe. Johnny's never going to reply because he's never seen a text message that I've heard of in my life. Like, he literally doesn't have access to such a thing." And I was like, all right, here goes. We're going to have
amazing.
So, I mean, but
What year was this?
2009.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
So I was like 19, 20, 21.
Got it.
It was that era.
Okay.
But something really powerful happened at the cabin was I discovered the Bible for the first time. No one had ever showed me the Bible. It was always just some boring book. Nobody wants to read that book. But in the cabin, we only had 2 books because my friends left, and then I was there by myself for 6 months. So it was very quiet. And there were 2 books. One was Kon-Tiki, this awesome adventure book about Thor, Heidegger, and they built these. They're seeing how the Polynesian islands got populated. So in the 1940s, they actually went down to South America, and to prove their theory, they cut down balsa wood trees and built a raft using the tools that primitive peoples only would have had. And then they just floated to the Polynesian islands in 3.5 months. So we had that book, which I love. So I read that book. And
Sounds like something you might do. I'm learning.
And then there was the Bible. And I started reading it, especially the wisdom literature, the Psalms, Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, Sirach, and the Gospels. And something happened. I'm like, I need to get wisdom. Oh, we also had Augustine's Confessions, which we just became obsessed with. We just stay up till like 3 a.m. drinking wine by candlelight because we had no electricity, just talking about the Confessions for like 2 months straight. That's all we talked about. We couldn't get enough.
Homemade wine?
We don't want to do that. But I mean, that changed everything for me. It changed everything. What am I pursuing here?
Yeah.
And so that question, when I was looking for that wise man to become a disciple, I'm like, I got to become a disciple of Jesus, but I don't know how. Like, I'm reading about it, but I need someone to show me. I don't know enough. So I kept looking. For the next 10 years, I did a lot of different things. I hitchhiked to Alaska and worked on commercial fishing boats for a bit. I rode my bicycle across America with no money, and just doing the same thing, just meeting people and trying to figure out what's going on. Worked on a natural gas pipeline in Phoenix for a while, and just in teaching at St. Gregory's and just pursuing this question, but not coming up with, just not finding it. And then, and things wax and wane. Sometimes you're really pursuing it seriously, and sometimes the pursuit kind of gets put on the back burner a little bit. You guys know what I'm talking about. We all have that in our lives, but but that fire that when I first encountered the Bible, that changed everything for me. And so those questions, I'm like, I need to pursue God above all things, and this is the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. And so I'd be doing all these other jobs, but they didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Like killing fish doesn't matter to me. I'm not made for that, and I knew it. I do them, and I'm like, I'd love to stay here, but I know I can't because this isn't what God made me to do. So then I keep looking. I lost your original question, but I'm getting closer to pilgrimage. Back to the pilgrimage. So then when we, I lived in England for a year. Same thing, teaching at some schools and playing rugby, like low level rugby, not professional rugby, very low level, but it was a blast. And that experience as well, and just meeting some incredible people over there, kind of helped steer me more towards God made me for a mission. I know I have a mission, but I don't know where it is. But I realize now in hindsight, I was just running from the mission.
Yeah.
The whole time I was running from it. I was afraid of it. I was afraid if I actually let God into my life, what would he actually do?
Yeah.
Like what would happen? Like that's scary.
Yeah. What do you have to say yes to? When these young men show up in your life, like what do you have to do to deprogram or to break them or to reset?
And this is
like a stallion or whatever.
This is something we're still working on.
Yeah.
But something I've discovered since I started ultra running. Can I tell you guys about like the first serious breaking experience I had?
Yeah.
In running, that it's only happened a couple years ago. That's really changed the trajectory of everything in my heart and what I'm really doing and how this thing is happening.
Yeah.
My first, so I was teaching PE at a public school in Gallup, and a lot of kids off the reservation. Our student body was over 50% Native American, and these kids had a lot of them have very sad lives. And they have no hope, and they got dropped off on their grandma's doorstep, or and they're raised by some random person because they're just totally abandoned, and they have tough lives. And it was very hard for me to get them to want to do anything. I'm like, why don't you want your own good when you're 10?
Yeah.
Like, how do I do that? And so I wanted to try and show them, like, guys, you can do hard things and it's going to make you better. And I'm not just going to tell you that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do something I've never done. I'm going to run a 50-mile race. And so I signed up for a 50-mile race. I'd never run I think I ran a marathon when I was 32, and that was about it. So I ran this 50-mile race. I ended up winning it. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of good at this.
That's too bad.
Like, that was cool. Like, I wasn't expecting that turnout, but it was I'm like, okay, maybe let's double it. So 4 weeks later, I ran a 100-mile race. And I go back, I tell the kids about the races, and they got so stoked, and the output in class just went way up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something bigger. I'm going to do 100 miles now, and then I'm going to tell them the story. So I show up to my first 100-mile race, and I'll keep this short, but this really was the point that changed things for me. I show up for the race. It's 5 a.m. on the Continental Divide Trail in New Mexico. It's 25 degrees. It's dark. It's a small race. There's like 30 people there in the middle of nowhere.
You mean tons of people aren't signing up to run hundreds of miles?
No, I mean, this is such a backwater, no-name race. Like this race is no press. Race starts. And I've never run a 100-mile race. I show up with a 16-ounce water bottle. And I'm like, I'll be fine.
And 1,000 calories.
And 1 calorie.
There's a Starbucks 500 miles from here.
And because I'd never hit a wall in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't hit walls. I could just power through anything. And I really believed that. Until this race. So I start running. I'm looking around, the sun starts to rise. You're running on a mesa. I'm watching the sun rise, and all of a sudden I trip and fall into a cactus. Cactus is in the side of my head. Pull this cactus. I'm like, wow, this is like a little taste of what the crown of thorns must have been like. This sucks. So I pulled it.
That's fine.
That's fine. It did.
Yeah.
It
For
did.
both of you.
It did. So I pulled that cactus.
Not fun.
pulled that cactus out of my head. I'm like, all right, don't look at anything pretty because you're going to fall in the cactus. So trying to just stay on the trail. By mile 26 and a half, it was an out and back 4 times. So out, back, out, back.
I kind of hate that because I would rather not go on the same trail I was just on.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But
Again.
it was kind of nice because you got to know the trail. So when it gets dark, you kind of familiar. But it's a 106-mile race. So at the 27-mile turnaround, I came out. I was in first place. Hit the halfway point, still in first. Get to the turnaround the third time. So you're running. It's the first experience I've ever had. You start running when it's dark. You watch the sunrise. It goes up, and then it sets, and then it's dark again, and you just haven't stopped running. And you're just like, it was such a bizarre experience for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is so, like, what is happening? And I'm really out of gas.
Day in the life.
And my little brother Kevin came to crew me, and Kev's hilarious. So Kev's in his jeans, he's got his cowboy boots on, his cowboy hat. He's got like 20 beers that he's slowly been milking throughout the day. And Kev's job is to, whenever he's allowed to, give me some food.
Yeah.
And so I'm around this little fire at the turnaround. We were allowed to have crew there. And Kev has some green tea for me, and there's a bag of Tate's cookies. You guys ever had Tate's cookies?
Oh, yeah.
I love those.
I think I have.
And there's a bunch of calories in these cookies. So just dunking them in green tea, and it's probably 12 those cookies in about 2 minutes. And I'm getting ready to head out, and I thought I saw a headlamp coming down the trail. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the second place
Somebody
guy,
caught me.
he caught up to me.
Yeah.
I thought I had like a 6-7 mile lead. I'm like, I got to go. And I start taking off down the trail. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm either going to win this race or they're going to helicopter my dead body off this trail. because I'm either winning or I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to give everything. And that was probably the first time in my life I've ever given everything to anything.
Wow.
Which is the weirdest thing, because I thought I'd worked hard in the past. Like, I've never given everything to anything. And I chose that as the first thing, which is pretty lame. But anyhow, that's what I did. And so I'm running, and I had my fastest 10-mile split of the race between like mile 80 and mile 90. Like I was hammering it so hard. I was definitely running in the 7s.
No.
Wow.
Like at that time. But
Crazy.
But then I paid for it really hard. I'm running, I'm flying. The Tate's cookies are pumping through me. I'm feeling the power of Tate's. I'm running. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm jogging, but I'm still going as fast as I can. Then I'm power hiking. Then I'm hiking. Then I'm walking. And I'm like, what is happening? And then I start like really slowing down. And then I just stopped and I fell over.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what is happening? I'm like at mile, there's an aid station at mile 97. So mile 94, it's dark. It's now 25 degrees again. I'm in like a cutoff t-shirt with no food and no water, lying in the dirt on the Continental Divide Trail, and I'm so tired. I've never experienced this in my life, and I can't get up. And that little voice, you have this conversation in your head. One voice is like, just stay here and freeze to death. You know, you read about those Arctic explorers, and it's like, that doesn't sound so bad. Just kind of slip off. Just slip
Peaceful
off
out
into
here.
that.
Yeah.
And the other voice is like, you're actually going to die if you don't get up. Like, do you really want to do that? That went on for about 20 minutes. And then I started shivering. I'm like, I got to get up. So eventually I get up, and it took me 3 hours to walk the next 3 miles.
Wow.
That's like a baby could crawl that fast. That's so slow.
Yeah.
So I get to the aid station, mile 97. My little brother Kevin sees me coming in, sees my headlamp. I can't talk to him because my teeth are chattering so much I'm shivering. He gets me in the car, cranks the heat. After about 45 minutes, I'm like, Kev, I'm done. I'm like, let's go back to the hotel. I'm done. And this is like Kev's genius right here. I love this about Kev. Kev doesn't care, but he really does care. But it seems like he doesn't care. So what I wanted from Kev in that moment was, I'm like, yeah, man, that's tough. Dude, that sucks. That was hard, man. That really stinks. But yeah, let's call it a day. Good effort. Instead, Kev just like looks at me. He's like rolling a cigarette in one hand, and he's drinking a beer in the other. And then he lights his cigarette, and he's like, you drug my butt out here and wasted my entire weekend to crew you. He's like, we're not going anywhere until you cross that line. He's like, I'll wait you out. He just kicks his seat back and just starts smoking in the front seat. And in that moment, I wanted to kill Kevin.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill this guy, but I couldn't. I was so broken and tired.
Yeah.
And I fall asleep in the front seat for 4 hours. Turns out the guy wasn't behind me. I was hallucinating. There was no headlamp behind me. I was still way in front of this guy. He passes me while I'm sleeping in the middle of the night, and he wins. But when I wake up, I'm still in second place because I had such a massive lead on the next guy.
Funny.
And I have 9 miles to go. Kev he's like, all right, it's time to go now. He gets up, pulls me out of the car, pulls the cactuses out of my feet because I've been kicking cactuses. And he just starts physically pushing me down the trail and just shoves me off. And he's like, I'll see you at the end. He drives around to the finish line, grabs my extra pair of running shoes, runs 5 miles in on the trail, meets me, and runs the last 5 miles with me and finishes the race. So I finished, and it took me 27 hours, and I came in second. So again, this is there's only like 30 people in the race.
Yeah.
But what I love about that is Kev, it's like we all have those 97-mile moments where like you hit a wall. Like I used to think walls were just for weak people. And that's a danger. I think a lot of young guys that think they're pretty tough and they lift a lot and you're good at sports, like, I could do this. I can just power through. It's like, you know what? You're going to hit mile 97 at some point and you're going to fall down and you're not going to be able to get up. And you're going to need real brothers that actually care about you. They're going to challenge you to be the man God made you to be and pull you through there. You're going to actually need that. And then also, it reminded me of God the Father.
Yes.
It's like, that's what he does. It's like, you can't do it. Like, hey, wake up, man. You actually need a savior. There's a reason why he died on the cross for you, because you can't do it. If you could do it on your own, you didn't have to do that. And but I needed to have that experience in my body to understand it in my heart, because it was all in my head.
Yeah.
God's love was just a thing in my brain. I've never experienced it. And in that moment, there was the first breakthrough, but I had to be physically broken to experience it. And then it's just kind of, I'm like, I remember that feeling. And I've had it in other races too, but I'm getting smarter. So I'm not having that as often anymore, but I'm so glad I had it then.
Yeah.
And that's changing everything for me. I feel like at the age of 36, I'm only just beginning to understand what it means, like, to be a Christian, to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And like, that's all, like, there's nothing else matters. Like, nothing else matters than that.
Yeah. Have you ever given everything to anything? Is such a cool question to ponder in the light of our faith.
Yeah. And even now I still like, I'm like, so why are we doing this run? That's why, in a sense, because we want to talk to kids. We're talking at middle schools, high schools, colleges. Anybody who will listen to us, we'll get in front of them. And we're not going to talk to them about, we got Sebaste. We need to raise money, but I don't care about that. God's going to give us the money we need.
For sure.
I don't care about that. Yeah. We don't have any money. We don't have enough money to get to Tulsa, Oklahoma right now. We started this with only enough money to get 10 days into our journey. So if we don't get any money in Dallas, we're staying in Dallas, which would be kind of cool, but it's just fine. I don't care. Like, we're going to make the money. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not about the money.
But the point is, we get to go in front of people and talk about this. Like, hey guys, Jesus isn't just someone that was operating 2,000 years ago. He didn't just heal blind people and lame people back in the day. Like, he can do that for you. Like, well, I'm not blind or lame. Like, I don't need any help. Yeah, trust me, you do.
Yes, you do.
You do. You do. But man, having that like powerful experience of like, God loves me, not just humanity. It's me personally. Like, he loves me so much that he created me. The universe is better because I'm in it. Even amidst on all my sin and brokenness and shame, the things I hate about myself, like, he loves me in that moment. Yeah. And with these college guys, going back to New Mexico, what we see is, man, there's these guys, a lot of them hate themselves. Because like, I'm addicted to porn, I'm addicted to whatever, cigarettes, hard drugs, all this stuff. And like, I'm unlovable. And we've all been there at some point. I'm still there. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to get out of that. But I seen the light and I know he's real and he can do that. And so that's what we do. So the mission of Sebaste, my buddy Jeremy Gay, the guy who co-founded Sebaste with me, he's a Marine Corps major, lawyer. And I love when he talks about the Marine Corps because they're so clear about their purpose and their mission. The purpose of everything we do in the Marine Corps is to become better at closing with and destroying the enemies of the United States of America. I love that. This is such an awesome mission.
pretty clear what the purpose is there. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, we should just make that Sebaste mission too. Destroy the enemies of Jesus. No,
there you go.
No, but I mean,
St. Michael, brother.
So exactly. But our mission is to help free men so they can enter into right relationship with Jesus Christ, which is man fully alive, which is a great saint. Because we're made to be great saints. That's it. That is it. Like full stop. I don't need to qualify anything.
Can we say to help free men, free men? I could just keep doing this wordplay here. Like, we help free men, free other men.
Help free men, free other.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, right? Like, let's get this whole thing moving forward. I was with college kids on Friday night, and they were like, young men. I was like, any advice? And somehow we started getting into shame. It was really quick how we got there, because they need people to speak truth to them about, like, you're not the sum of your shame.
Yes, that's killing.
This is a public college, leadership conference. I'm like, gentlemen, there's something way bigger at play here. And women, all they want you to do is to get over your own past sins and be present to them now. And you could start dating and not have to carry around that baggage you have. And they were like, oh my God. Like, they've never heard this before.
Jeff, that's huge. And can I just dovetail off of that?
Please.
And say something that just came into my head is also these guys realizing, like, you're made for a mission. Like, you're made for a purpose, and your life isn't yours to just screw off with in college and waste your time. Like, because here's what they do. I'm too young right now. To start living my life. You know what? Actually, I can't, because I'm addicted to this sin. And when I fix that, then I'll be ready to do what Jesus wants me to do. But right now, I can't do it because I'm into porn, or I'm living a way that I don't think is conducive to the gospel. Whatever it is, I'm like, hey guys, guess what? God wants you now. He wants you now.
Right now.
In your brokenness, in your sin, because guess what? You're never going to be fixed, and you can't fix yourself either.
Dude, your boarding school is so cool because it never used youth as an excuse. Like, I literally wrote something, because I write every day, and I said, write a post about how youth is not an excuse, but being greedy or inexperienced is understandable, but youth, like how old you are, is not an excuse. No. You just might not have the experience yet.
Yeah.
Because I know plenty of 16-year-olds.
You get experience.
Yeah, 16-year-olds who have changed the entire world. 14-year-olds who have changed the entire world. Yeah. You're holding the massage socks of a guy who was doing this when he was a teenager,
Yeah. Creating websites about the Eucharistic miracle.
But like, what are you waiting on? You're actually just a man, even when you're a boy. You're just growing into the rest of it.
But here's the thing: is they're afraid. They're afraid to take their life seriously because there's no clarity. But I think it comes down to identity, because mission flows from identity. It's like when you understand much of what we're trying to do or trying to facilitate. I'm not saying we're doing it. I don't know anything.
Grace through us, sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I'm going to show up and do whatever I can. God's going to do it.
Yep.
It's helping these guys get clear on who are you. You're a beloved son of God the Father. And until you're living out of that identity, you're not going to understand your mission. But look at Christ. He's the best example. Like, that guy never got mission drift. He was so clear. There's never been anyone so clear about their purpose as Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He showed up here. He knew who he was. Baptism in the Jordan. I just discovered the luminous mysteries like three months ago. Like, I love that. The baptism in the Jordan, that first mystery. You are my beloved son, whom I'm well pleased. Before you've done anything, I am pleased with you. And he's clear about his mission. But what does he do? How does he not get mission drift? He's always leaving the 12. He's always going off to spend time with God the Father in prayer, in silence, to receive consolation, to pour his heart out there, to be consoled, to be advised. And then he returns with clarity and purpose. And I'm like, guys, you're made in the image of God, all right? This is you. What are you doing? We're not on our own timeline, guys. It's like your little hourglass is flipped over. I don't know how much sand is in there.
Yeah.
When I'm running every day, I'm like, this could be the last run. And man, I get the privilege of running today. I've been given the gift to experience whatever little pain or discomfort. I'm not going to call it suffering, because I grew up in America. I've never suffered in my life.
Yeah.
I don't even know what suffering means. It's like whatever little discomfort that I experience from running, like, this is a privilege. God gave me this gift. And man, I'm gonna go for this. I'll stop in 1 second. I got to tell you this, though.
Yeah, please.
This funniest thing, I was in the bathroom the other day at some restaurant. You know how, like, in bathrooms, they have those stupid little signs, like peace, love, and happiness. I don't know.
Yeah.
My mom's got a lot of those signs. Sorry, Mom. In her house. I've just never been a fan of that
Pray,
kind of...
spray, and don't worry.
Yeah, stuff like that. I've never really been a huge fan of that stuff. So I'm like washing my hands and look over. I'm like, this one actually kind of like got me thinking. It said, if you only woke up tomorrow with what you were grateful for today, what would you wake up with? I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so I just started thinking about that. I'm like, God, man, I am so grateful for this. So when I'm running, and again, you know, and this is might sound kind of stupid, but it's like I'm running during Lent. I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of fasting. I can't even eat enough food as it is. I'm thinking, you know what? I want to be so grateful for everything in my life, every morning and every night. Like this catalog of gratitude. For God, thank you for giving me the gift of my body to be able to do this. Thank you for sustaining me. Thank you for making this happen. I get to be on your guys' podcast and hang out with you guys around this tiny table, which is awesome. And
we don't need Tim Tebow now.
Yeah, we still do.
That was a test. You passed.
We all need Tim. But I mean, I'm like, that's a great thing. I think it helps ground us and root us in like back to the heart of things. Like, what are we doing down here? I'm like, guys, you're made to be a great saint, and you're made for greatness. Like Pope Benedict, you know, the world offers you comfort. You're not made for comfort. You're made for greatness. Don't be seduced by your little soft couches and your video games and whatever you're doing in your dorm room. You got a mission here, and you're playing Xbox, and God is calling you to some great purpose and great work. Like, what are you doing? How are you getting mission fit? I've always kind of thought God's kind of like the Marine Corps. It's almost like orders are given on a need-to-know basis. But you don't send a guy, you don't halo jump out of a helicopter into Afghanistan to do some 14-day mission, capture and kill, and then out until you've had the proper training. Until you've had the training. That mission won't show up on your table. But if you never go to the training ground, if you never get ready for the mission, God's like, I got a mission for you, but you just aren't ready for the mission. Like, why are you avoiding the training ground?
You're terrible as a podcast guest. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can tell you've never done this before.
Literally, if this is your first podcast, I hope you podcast in every single day, everywhere you go. This is powerful, amazing stuff,
For
brother.
sure.
I was being facetious the first part. You got that?
A little bit of brotherly sarcasm.
It is. What a blessing.
Yeah.
I don't say that to be even short about it. It's unbelievable. We are going to wrap up this show. Can people, I know you're not like blogging as you go, but can people follow this trek?
Actually, Joe, Whiskey Joe Myers over there, the crew man, there he is. He
is there a website, Whiskey Joe?
He captures a lot of stuff.
Sebaste.org.
Sebaste.org.
How do you spell that?
SEBASTE.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do not go to seabass.org. That is a totally different organization.
Yes. Delicious, but different.
Yeah. Sebaste.
Sebaste. you tricked yourself.
You did.
Sebaste.org, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
.org. Okay. Awesome.
I can't wait to continue to follow along with this. Any last things?
I love that you, in there you said you were running from God's call, and now you're literally running for God's call.
Kind of, yeah.
He was a foreman for men.
At the beginning of it, I thought I was going to run to, I'm going to help people. It turns out I'm being helped way more.
For sure.
So I feel like I'm just getting a bunch of great things by meeting guys like you and
then
people I've met along the way.
One open loop for me is just like why Divine Mercy Sunday was the close.
Yeah, you gotta finish
That's a great
there.
question. Divine Mercy Sunday, because I need mercy, and I need to learn how to experience the mercy of God. And I think for a lot of young guys, I don't think I'm unique in that.
Yeah.
I'm 36, but when you're 20 in college, early 20s, I think they've got the same problem as me. You think I can do it on my own. I don't need God. I don't understand what that means. Like, I don't know that I need a savior. I know it in my brain, but I don't know it in my heart. And that's a different thing. I'm like, I need God's mercy. And so I wanted to end on Divine Mercy Sunday, because every day when I'm running, I get a lot of time to think, and because there's nothing else going on. You pray the rosary a lot, and just pray the Jesus prayer. And like, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of the living God, have mercy on me, a sinner. And like, but actually, this is enough that I need to believe this. Because sometimes we'll say prayers, but we don't really believe it. I'm like, this is the truth about me. I need to understand that, and I know God wants to come into that, and His mercy is real, and I need to learn how to experience that. And I'm hoping meaning I have the firm conviction it will happen, that then I can help through God, hopefully God using me to help with the desires he's given to me to help other guys experience the mercy and love of God so they can actually become the men that God made them to be.
Incredible, Johnny. And the smell really has taken over the studio.
I told you it's real.
Yeah, just had to sit in it for a little bit there.
It's probably Joe over there.
It was when Joe came back.
It's when Joe came back.
Yeah.
That's when it all went down.
Smelled like Hogwarts up in here.
Whiskey Joe.
Whiskey Joe Myers. There he is.
Amazing.
So, Johnny, we're going to see you at the Atlantic Ocean. For the rest of you, we will.
See you in the Eucharist.
God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our Undersides table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @ so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ the _ BeatiDudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.